You and your brother just wiped out the competition.
Love to be Supercross world champ.
What are the biggest keys in preparation for Supercross coming up?
The risk of racing a dirt bike.
What do you think it's going to take in Supercross, specifically going into A1?
You can be feeling at the top of your game and still get taken out from a crash, or the bike's a little better, I'm a little better.
Now he made a bike switch. Do you think the bike's going to help him? Hunter, after having one of the most impressive seasons, you took second in Super Motocross, second in Motocross. You and your brother just wiped out the competition. You guys won Moto of Nations. What is it going to take for you going into the 2026 season to become a world champion, going against guys like your brother, Eli, Cooper Webb, Chase? What do you need? What are the formula? What success is there for you to become a world champion?
Hopefully everything I'm working on right now can be the key. You know, you have guys that go out there and put it together and then it still doesn't happen, you know. So I'm just doing everything I can in the off season right now to get to that. We're talking 0.1%, you know, I'm chasing 0.1, 0.2%, small gains. But, you know, hopefully we can check back in after the year and it's been a successful year and I've been able to make that final little step to get the top step, you know, off who has been my brother. I got a big circle around Supercross this year. I want to finish that really strong. I'd love to be Supercross world champ, and that's what I'm really got my sights set on.
You talk about the small inches and the small differences that are going to make you a world champion. We understand your brother and yourself, you guys trained together in Florida, in Tampa, at a track you guys built. You also have, obviously, the recent injury with Joe Shimoda, but you have a lot of athletes that train at this track. What are the biggest keys in preparation for Supercross coming up? What are you guys doing at the track? What are you doing in the gym? What are you doing in the kitchen?
It all starts with you can't get injured in the off season. Honestly, that's like such a huge thing. We're so exposed to the risk of racing a dirt bike during the week. You know, what we race on the weekend is what we're practicing, trying to replicate, trying to just create that exact same, you know, perfect storm to train in there. So when it comes Saturday night or Saturday race day, we're absolutely ready for anything that can be thrown our way. So we're pushing as much as we can, trying to be as smart as we can. You know, you're dieting, you're trying to build this massive, think of a pyramid, this huge base foundation that's going to carry us all the way from the first race weekend in January all the way through the end of October.
We saw you put on some weight in a good way. What are you doing in the gym? What are you doing in the kitchen that you think is going to help you become more successful this year in the 2026 season?
Dude, it's just every year you learn your body, right? You learn your body, you learn what nutrition works. Every year in the off season, you're able to make these little changes, right? Hey, we're going to bring in a little more gym. We're going to bring in cardio a little later into the off season. Cardio is really good. Let's try and get a little stronger.
What's that for cardio?
All cardiovascular. Mountain biking, running, obviously motorcycle, there's a lot of cardiovascular as well.
What's at the gym workouts?
These ones are a lot of dynamic stuff, a lot of movement, trying to perfect the body, you know, a lot of wear and tear on the body, you know, like I'm trying to fix, you know, a little bit of a twisted, not scoliosis, but kind of, you know, the body gets twisted a bit just from injuries. Your body makes band-aids without even realizing it, you know, so just trying to write all the little things that, again, you learn your body every season you go through and you learn new things.
We see you don't eat dairy, you don't eat chicken, you stay away from foods that give you inflammation. You're very keen to what your body needs and doesn't need. What do you think it's going to take in Supercross, specifically going into A1 against guys like Chase, against guys like Cooper Webb, Eli, Jet Lawrence? What is it going to take for you to go out there and win?
Mate, it's so unique about our sport. Last year, before I was taken out of the series from a shoulder injury that I needed to get surgery on, I felt really coming into my own. Like I really felt like I was coming into my own. I was 5th place 3 weekends in a row, which was, you know, an average start, but just consistent, and then really felt like I was about to start hitting my strides. And then that little injury happens right when you're feeling on your game. So that's what's so unique about our sport is you can be feeling at the top of your game and still get taken out from a crash or something happens. So dude, we're going into it with the same approach. The bike's a little better. I'm a little better. Just going in with, you know, our head on a swivel.
We saw a big-time rider like Chase Jaxxon have a tough year. Now he made a bike switch. Do you think the bike's going to help him?
It could. You know, some guys, sometimes they're just looking. A lot of guys are searching for something. You know I've searched for something in past as well.
Sometimes you don't find what you're searching for.
No, for sure. There's times you can go down a rabbit hole and you don't know. So,
or you blame your losses on a bike.
I mean, you can, but at the same time, we're just as accountable for sure.
What about a guy like Jorge Prado? Everybody thought the Spaniard was going to come into town and just wipe the Lawrence brothers off the charts. I had a few words with some people in some alleys, and I had to take care of business. I said, not a chance. Until the Lawrence brothers are proven otherwise, they will remain on the top of the game. Do you think Jorge Prado switching to a new bike in KTM is going to help him?
yeah, that's another rider that's searching for something. With the bike, he was very vocal about, how the bike wasn't what he wanted and stuff. So there's a lot of pressure on him. It's kind of do or die for him. If he doesn't perform on this bike that he said he needed, then it's kind of game over a little bit.
What do you think of guys like Cooper Webb, guys like Eli, these veterans that have been in the game for a long time that know how to win? What do you think about them going into the new season?
Dude, they're legends, right? Coop, three-time champ. Eli as well. They're just the vets, if you want to call them that. They're not that old, but dude, they're studs and they're always good on any given night. Coop, such a weapon. Same with Eli, beast mode. So it's cool to be racing those guys that we watched from Australia when we were still, kids growing up. So that's cool. Obviously, fun to race with them. They're clean, good racers. They're going to race you hard, keep it clean, respectful.
Do you think that Cooper Webb is going to have the same speed going into this year?
Yeah, I think so. I don't
think Eli's going to have the same speed?
I think so. I think these guys are, again, to what I said about when we touched on, your body a little better, you know your bike a little better. Eli's on a new bike.
You don't see them falling off. You see them continuously to get better.
Continuously getting better. I mean, yeah, experience-wise. Is the sport going to progress in speed on average 2 seconds a lap now? No, I don't think we're at that point of the sport's growth yet with the motorcycle and the athlete yet. I think it's going to be pretty close to last year, but we'll see. I could be wrong.
When you go out there and you have to compete against your brother, you guys are always neck and neck. You win a race, he wins a race. What is the biggest way that you guys are able to keep such a healthy relationship?
Dude, we're on this planet for hopefully 80 years, and we're brothers for 80 years. We only race professionally for 10, maybe 15 years. So our dad always told us, hey, use a brothers first. And, in 40 years when we look back and we go, hey, we killed it, we crushed it, we dominated the sport together. I think that's pretty special.
You have such a dope style, not only when you're wearing Jaxxon or when you're out there wearing Santos Studio, but when we were at Nordstrom the other day, we were looking at all the new Santos Studio products and you had your brand new JX1 on and it's your watch coming out with Jaxxon. You helped design this. You're very vocal about your bike. You're very vocal about the things you wear, but you're very in tune with not only the mechanics, but the style, the build out of certain things. What makes you so excited about the bike when you sit down and you go to review it with the mechanics, you go to review it with the team? What are things you look for? The suspension? I mean, I've just seen you really dial in this thing with today being your first day of testing.
Yeah, well, it's just the fascination of tailoring a motorcycle, right? We're tailoring, like you go and get a suit tailor fitted to your body type. We're tailoring a motorcycle to how we ride, our technique, where we use the power of the motor, the mapping, the oil control and suspensions, the motor configurations, all of those things is hand, tailoring to our riding style, which is pretty unique to have a whole team of amazing people around us that are at our disposal to help us go out and win, and we work together as a team and we win together as a team.
Do you have anything to say about Hayden Deegan riding in the 250 class and not moving up to 450s?
It's, I think he did a few preseason races, so it's like he was obviously just putting his finger in the water, test it out, see how that went. Maybe it didn't go as he was hoping it went. That's why he's bumped back down to 250s maybe, but who knows? I can't speak too much on that.
How do you think he'll do when he goes into the 450 class? Do you think it's that big of a difference in the bike control and the way he rides?
Yeah, I think Supercross on a 450 is a lot bigger transition than it is going into motocross. I think motocross, the transition is definitely a lot easier. I know, just speaking from my own experience and going from 250 then jumping straight into 450 going into Supercross first, you don't forget how to ride Supercross, but the bike is just a whole new beast. So it's like dealing with a whole new animal. You know what you're trying to do on the track, but you're just not quite able to make it happen, or the bikes are not allowing you to do it just because it is such an animal of a machine.
And the last thing I got for you, when you're riding and you're picking your lines and you're looking at corners and you're looking at turns and you're looking at the way you're going to flow through the track, you and your brother are so good at picking things that most people can't see, but you are very surgical. You're very consistent. You're always in the mix. You seem to know exactly what you could push your body to, and you seem never to want to go beyond that limit. Is that what goes through your mind? Like the consistency and the way you're able to hold the bike and hold the pace through the race? Like, how do you do this so good?
Yeah, I'm a very analytical person. I'm a thinker. I always think things through. Very aware. Actions have consequences. So I've been injured a lot in my career, so I know the downside of it. And then, yeah, if there's a night or a day where I'm pushing it, trying to make it work, at some point, I'm not going to give up, but I'm going to go, hey, there's my limit. Let's just keep pushing and trying to ride myself in. But I'm definitely more aware of when I'm on the verge of a mistake or something like that, just because, you're almost scared to be injured again. But at the same time, you're out there racing like you've never been injured. That's like the mentality you got to have, you know, train like you've never won, race like you've never lost. You know, it's the same thing. Race like you've never been injured, but, you know, at the same time, you try not to be injured.
And going into the season, is there anything specifically you wanted to work on as a rider in the off season? Your weight, your style, the way you ride, things you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted to just take another step again. You know, every year you're on the bike, it's really tough to replicate laps, right? The most important thing in our sport is riding the motorcycle. That's cage time in UFC terms. You know, football, it's game time. Like, you can't replicate that. Racing is the best practice. So I got another year of racing under my belt, and I'm just trying to just keep replicate that off the bike. I'm working on stuff to get better physically. On the bike, we're working on little percentages here and there to be better as a racer.
Amazing. You heard it here live from Hunter Lawrence here at the Jaxxon Media House. We're a few weeks away from A1. Today was the first day of testing. We're giving you guys a behind-the-scenes look. Tomorrow, we'll be sitting down with Jet Lawrence. And then we have a brand new episode of Jaxxon Sports Podcast with myself and Twitch. Make sure you guys check it out, and then go check out our Jaxxon Podcast Discord. Plus, Hunter's brand new JX1 is going to be dropping soon at our first ever flagship store at Victoria Gardens. And we'll give you guys a lot more information on that soon. Thanks for watching.